Hello, dear viewer, dear learner, welcome back to our lessons. As usual, this is Wilfred Momanyi Onkangi-Kiongozi, your tutor in mathematics and biology. Now this weekend, as I promised, we are doing mathematics, and basically we are revising paper 2. And now on the board, I have formula and variations. This is a chapter in paper 2, it's a chapter in form 3 that is divided into 2, formula and of course variations. In formula, and that is what we are doing today, we have what we call making the subjects of the formula. So you have a formula and you have a variable that you're supposed to make the subject of that formula. For example, if we have the volume of a cone is given by a third pi r squared h. This is the volume of a cone. V is a variable, then r is a variable, and height is a variable. It is called a variable because they vary depending on how the other variables are brought. In fact, if you increase the radius or the height, you also increase the volume of that cone. So this is what we call variables. But a third and also pi are constants. So in our lesson today, I want to show you how, for example, you've been asked to make h the subject of the formula. This one, we can simply say, you divide, we have v is equals to a third pi r squared h. If you want h, you divide, first of all, you multiply by 3. You multiply by 3 on these both sides, and also multiply by 3 there. So you have pi r squared h is equals to 3v. Then finally now, you divide by pi r squared on both sides, divided by pi r squared on both sides. Your h is going to be 3v over pi r squared. So this is simply showing you how we were able to remain with h and that variable h on one side and the rest of the variables on the other side. Remember, we have quite a number of operations. You can make r the subject of the formula. You can even make pi the subject of the formula depending on the question. It's a very easy exercise and it will earn you 3 marks. Now, before I give you the example, I will prepare you for variations. In variations, we have types of variations. We have direct variation. We have joint variation. We have partial variation. And of course, we have inverse variation. For the interest of time, I know you have very few days before you sit for your exam. I am going to shoot for you a video, and especially on partial variation. Partial variation gives you 4 marks. It is very interesting because it encompasses the formula for looking for simultaneous equations. There is also the joint variation that gives you 10 marks. So you stay put, continue following me. After these lessons, I'm going to ensure that I shoot for you these 2 videos to prepare you for the 10 plus 4, which is 14 marks. And I've insisted this chapter is set in paper 2. Let us do our examples for making the subject of the formula. Making the subject of the formula. Example 1. Make P the subject of the formula. Make P the subject of the formula if that formula is given as L, let me write it here, L is equals to 2 over 3. Then the square root x squared minus pt divided by 1. So we are making P the subject of the formula. Steps are very easy. Solution. The first thing is you deal with 2/3. Or else, because we have two ways of going about it, you can start with removing 2/3 from this point. But again, we can start by squaring both sides. We square all the factors here and of course the other side. So we have L squared is equals to, this one is squared and this one also cancels with a square root. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Then you multiply by the square root cancels with the square. So you have x squared minus pt over y. That's the first step. And this step, they award you a mark. The other thing is now dealing with this constant here. We can multiply with 9/4 so that it cancels out on both sides. Times 9/4. This cancels here with 4 and this one with this. I have multiplied with the reciprocal of this constant to just remove it from that side. We want our values, especially these ones that have p, to remain free. So we have 9/4 L, we can write it this way. 9L/4. You know, 9/4 times L squared. It is L squared, sorry. 9L squared over 4 is equals to x squared minus pt over y. We are looking for the independency of p. We want it to be free so that we can make it the subject of the formula. The next thing is cross multiplication. We cross multiply. Cross multiplication. So in this case, we shall multiply this one with that and this one with that. So we have y, we can say 9L squared y is equals to 4, open the brackets. Because this 4 will be multiplied by 2 factors, ensure you open the bracket. If you don't open the brackets, you will be tempted to multiply 4 times x squared and forget the other. So it's good to open the bracket, x squared minus pt. Then you expand, of course, 9L squared y is equals to 4x squared minus 4pt. We are looking for the independence of 4pt. And that makes us, we can take this one to the other side. That is, negative 4pt will be left. This one goes to the other side, it is a positive, it becomes a minus. 9L squared y minus 4x squared. So at that point, we are almost done, but we have to look at a few issues. We want p. So we can divide by negative 4 and t so that we can remain with p only. So we shall divide by negative 4t on both sides. So when we do that, we shall have p remaining here is equals to 9L squared y minus 4x squared over negative 4t. We are not yet done. Because there's something we have to do so that we convert this one into a value that we simplify it a little. When we divide by a negative here, and we want to eliminate this negative from here, we simplify numerator, denominator. So we shall have p is equals to, so the first one here, we start with this one which becomes a positive. Negative 4x squared divided by negative 4t is positive 4x squared. Then this one is a positive, it becomes a minus 9L squared y, then divide by 4t. I have removed this negative, and so I can simplify. You can leave it at this point, or you go further, simplify it, and say p is equals to 4x squared divided by 4t minus 9L squared y divided by 4t. In this second one here, you simplify by cancelling here and cancelling 4 by 4. So you end up having p is equals to x squared over t minus this one, there is nothing you can do to it, 9L squared y over 4t. t. That is how you go about this question. By the end of the day, you should ensure that you have left your answer in a simplified form. We go to the second example. Example number 2. Example number 2. Make x, example 2, make x the subject of the formula. The formula is y is equals to bx over square root of ax squared plus b. So again, we follow the steps. We follow the steps as I have told you in the first example. We want to remove this square root first. So the only thing we can do to remove the square root is square both sides. We square the right hand side, we also square the left hand side. So we have y squared is equals to bx. This one must be squared. Very good, very nice. So b squared, x squared. It's good to note that. B squared, x squared over this one. Now the square cancels, the square root cancels with the square. So we have ax squared plus b. That is the first step and it has a mark. The next step is cross multiplication. Cross multiplication. Y is multiplied with this part and 1 on the other side. So we have 1 times bx squared is equals to y squared. Again, I want to emphasize, I said you must introduce the brackets so that you avoid the aspect of multiplying y squared with the first value and forgetting the other one. So ax squared plus b. Then you close the bracket. Now, next part is you open the bracket. So we have b squared, this one is b squared, should I remember that? B squared x squared times 1, just like that, is equals to, open the brackets, y squared ax squared plus y squared b. So at that point, you are looking for x. You want the independence of x, and that means you must bring these like terms together. So the probable thing to do here is to make or take this value to the other side of the equal sign. It is a positive here. When it crosses, it becomes a negative. So you remain with this one. Y squared b remains is equals to b squared x squared minus this value that has crossed the equal sign, y squared ax. So at this point, you can factorize x here. You can factor, or y squared ax squared. Very good. You can factorize x squared here. Factorizing it means you put it outside the bracket, x squared, and then you look at how these other values remain. On this other side, b squared x squared divided by x squared, b squared remains. The other one is y squared ax squared divided by x squared remains y squared a. You have factorized the left hand side, sorry, the right hand side, and now the other part remains the way it is equals to y squared b. Now you are looking for x. So what you do on both sides, you multiply, you divide by this part and remain with the x. Divide by b squared minus y squared a, and of course on this side divide by b squared minus y squared a. So this one cancels out. X squared is now equal to y squared b over b squared minus y squared A. You are not done because you want the absolute formula for x. You do the square root on both sides. Square root here, square root on the right hand side. So this one gives you x is equals to, when you're looking for the square root of a number, the square root is equals to the plus or minus of that number. If you're looking for the square root of 4, for example, the square root of 4, you will get plus or minus 2. That means negative 2 squared is equals to 4, and 2 squared is also 4. So in this case, we start with those two signs, because the square root of a number is plus or minus that number. And you have plus or minus the square root of y squared b over b squared minus y squared a. There is nothing much you can do in this question, because if you are looking for the square root of the denominator, for example, there is no absolute value for a. It is irrational. If you are looking for the square root of the numerator, there is a square root of y squared, but there is no absolute value of the square root of b. So b is an irrational number. You leave it at this point, but make sure you remember these signs. The square root of a number is plus or minus that answer that you got. So we have done our two examples. You are able to remember very key things. Number one, making the subject of formula requires you to ensure that you put together the like terms and factorize those values that are supposed to be removed outside the bracket. Welcome to the next lesson, and I'm very sure you still keep on following me. Wilfred Momanyi Onkangi, Kiongozi. See you.